Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use and is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. What does it mean for evil to permeate a community? To puncture the heart of a town so deeply that the wound seems insurmountable? In the heartland of Shiawassee County, Michigan, a story unfolded that shook a community to its core. A tale of a grotesque crime, committed by one man, Mark David Latonsky, that sent shockwaves through the peaceful town and beyond. The year was 2019. December, to be precise, a time of year typically filled with cheer, celebration, and goodwill. But for the friends and family of 25-year-old Kevin Bacon, a student at the University of Michigan, Flint, it would be anything but that. Could you imagine a simple swipe right on a dating app leading to a chilling tale of murder and cannibalism? This is the story of Kevin Bacon, a 25-year-old man, and his fatal encounter with Mark Latonsky, a 50-year-old Michigan resident, woven through the threads of online dating and dark fantasies. On Christmas Day, 2019, an air of despair hung over the Bacon household. Kevin, known for his punctuality, hadn't shown up for the traditional Christmas brunch. This unusual absence raised alarm bells. His worried parents, sensing something wrong, reported him missing to the Metro Police Department. On a cold Christmas Eve in the year 2019, a promising college student named Kevin Bacon vanished without a trace. A student at the University of Michigan, Flint, Kevin was just 25 years old, full of hopes and dreams for the future. His disappearance cast a chilling shadow over the festive season, turning joy to despair in an instant. The events that unfolded in the days that followed were as shocking as they were tragic. As the days passed, hope dwindled, until 4 days later, the grim truth was unveiled. The police, taking the matter into their hands, handed over Kevin's phone they received from the family to the Michigan State Police Computer Crimes Lab. As the digital detectives delved into the depths of Kevin's phone, they discovered a chat log from a mobile dating app. This wasn't just any conversation, it was a series of messages that would ultimately lead them to Kevin's fate. Kevin had been communicating with one person in particular, a man named Mark Latonsky. The chat was flirty. The conversation suggested that Mark would pick Kevin up and transport him back to his home, marking the beginning of a night that would end in catastrophe. Mark Latonsky was not an unfamiliar name to the world of online dating. This 50-year-old resident of Michigan was known for running various online sex forums, almost like a male escort-type scenario. But little did Kevin know that a simple swipe right would lead him into the lair of a predator. Exactly who was Kevin Bacon, and what events in his life may have led up to this tragic event? Kevin Bacon, born on November 28, 1994, grew up in a tight-knit family alongside his mother Pamela Van Horn, father Carl Bacon, and older sister Jennifer. Graduating from Swartz Creek High School in 2013, Bacon pursued his passion for hair and beauty, attending Sharp's Hair Academy and starting his career at Uniquely You Salon and Spa in Swartz Creek. Despite plans to pursue a psychology degree at the University of Michigan Flint, Bacon's life was marked by struggles with depression, financial issues, and body image concerns, leading to self-destructive behaviors including self-harm and suicide attempts. Described as empathetic and caring by friends, Bacon's sensitivity often manifested in helping others while battling his own negative thoughts. On December 23, 2019, Bacon connected with Mark Latunksi, a 50-year-old former chemist grappling with schizophrenia, through Grindr. Bacon, seeking companionship and intimacy, believed he was meeting Latunksi for a casual encounter. However, the encounter took a tragic turn, leading to Bacon's murder on Christmas Eve. The case highlighted the vulnerabilities faced by LGBTQ individuals, mental health challenges, and the dangers of online interactions. When authorities discovered Kevin's body in Latunski's home on the 28th of December, the shocking details of his demise were brought to light. Can you imagine the horror of walking into an ordinary house on an ordinary day, only to discover a scene straight out of a nightmare? That's precisely what happened in the year 2019 when law enforcement officers in Michigan were investigating a missing persons complaint. The person in question was Kevin Bacon, a vibrant young man with a life full of potential ahead of him. His fate was far more gruesome than anyone could have anticipated. The officers arrived at the home of Mark Latunski. They were given consent to search the property. While some officers conversed with Latunski, others conducted a thorough search of the house. Latunski appeared calm and collected, showing no signs of nervousness. He even engaged in casual conversation about his Christmas tree. Who was Mark Latunski? What events happened in his life that may have led up to his gruesome act? Latunski, aged 54, was raised on his family's farm in Morris, just about 25 miles away from Bacon's hometown of Swartz Creek. His upbringing was steeped in agricultural roots, with his father leading the local 4-H community. As a child, Latunski tended to beef cattle for competition, though he eventually realized that farming wasn't his true passion. In his high school years, Latunski was often seen in glasses and sweaters, demonstrating his focus on academics. He distinguished himself as the valedictorian of his class in 1987 at Morris High School, as documented in a competency review presented to the court. Science captivated Latunski's interest, leading him to pursue higher education. Leaving his small town behind, Latunski enrolled at Central Michigan University in Mount Pleasant, where he obtained a bachelor's degree in chemistry by 1991. He furthered his academic journey at Iowa State University, graduating with a master's degree in physical and organic chemistry in 1995. Despite his academic achievements, Latunski returned to his rural roots in Shiawassee County after completing his education. He secured a position as a research chemist at Flint Inc., a local manufacturer specializing in commercial printing inks. Remaining single until his early 30s, Latunski's romantic life took a turn when he was set up on a date by mutual friends. This encounter marked the beginning of his journey towards marriage. He was always a bit awkward, but I really liked him, expressed Emily Latunski, 47, speaking about her now ex-husband. He was very considerate and kind. I fell in love with that side of him. He was very gentle. End quote. After a year of dating, the couple bought a home on Tyrell Road in Bennington Township, just outside Morris proper, and tied the knot in 2001. They soon started a family, welcoming their first son in 2003, followed by 3 daughters in 2004, 2007, and 2010. Life on their 5-acre property was bustling with goats, chickens, ducks, and rabbits, while Emily enjoyed horseback riding. Family trips included visits to Disney World and dinosaur parks, with Mark Latunski being described as a loving and involved father. However, A shift occurred shortly after the birth of their youngest daughter, when Mark began exhibiting strange behavior, claiming he wasn't his mother's son but her brother, convinced of an inheritance conspiracy. Emily, being concerned, encouraged him to seek treatment, but he discontinued medication shortly after starting it. Simultaneously, Mark confessed to online infidelity, straining their marriage, which led to counseling and separate sleeping arrangements. Mark's mental health deteriorated further as he accused Emily of involvement in a fictitious trust fund conspiracy. During his psychiatric treatment in 2012 and 2013, matters worsened when he falsely accused her of child neglect, leading to their separation and Emily filing for divorce in May 2012. His mental illness also affected his job performance, leading to his termination from American Chemical Technologies in February 2019 after 12 years. In 2015, Mark married Jamie Arnold, who later separated from him due to his escalating bizarre behavior, moving out in September 2019. Finding himself single and unemployed, Mark turned to odd jobs unsuccessfully before eventually resorting to work as a male escort under the alias Wilk Ulikos Vilkas.
The lawyer for Mark Lutunsky plans to argue his client is legally insane. Lutunsky is accused of killing 25-year-old Kevin Bacon after a dating app meetup at his home. Fox 47's Christiana Ford got an update on the investigation today from state police.
State police tell me the information found on the Grindr dating app led them to the body of 25-year-old Kevin Bacon 3 days after Christmas. They found Bacon's cell phone in his car outside of a Dollar General.
We were able to go back and extract the conversations that he had between him and Mr. Lutunsky, and that's what led us to this house. That is how we found Mr. Bacon. If we hadn't found that phone, who knows if we'd have ever found him.
The FBI is helping with the investigation. One of their focuses is making sure that there are no other victims.
And we will recheck the entire house, the premises, as well as the property, just to make sure that there is no undisturbed earth or other potential victims. We don't have any reports of any missing victims that fits this type of profile, but that is something we are looking at.
The crime, Lieutenant David Kaiser telling me,
it is one of the worst I've seen in my career of 35 years.
Police were called to Lutunsky's home numerous times, going back to 2013. Lieutenant Kaiser says they're revisiting the two most recent calls.
Those are things that we are recontacting those people, putting the embarrassment aside now that this is out in the open, to make sure there's no additional things that happened that maybe were inappropriate or illegal that now they'd wish to talk about.
Christiana Ford, Fox 47.
The two latest incidents involving Mark Lutunsky happened in November and October. In November, a man ran from his home wearing only a kilt. In October, there was a similar instance with a man who flew in all the way from New York before fleeing. No charges were filed in either of those cases. State police tell us they have 14 detectives working on the case with help from the FBI as needed. Mark Lutunsky will be in court tomorrow morning. We will be there and have the latest on air and online.
Premeditated murder. That's the ruling that came down today in a Shiawassee County courtroom against the man who admitted to killing and mutilating Kevin Bacon nearly 3 years ago. Mark Lutunsky pled guilty to open murder last month. It was up to a judge to decide if he was guilty of first-degree murder, second-degree, or manslaughter. From the evidence and testimony, the judge ruled the killing had been planned.
And as you can imagine, the journey to get to this day has been especially hard for the friends and the family of Kevin Bacon, who on the night he died thought he was going to meet a new friend he met on a dating app. TV5's James Felton joins us in the studio with reaction from Bacon's loved ones. James?
David and Elise, Kevin Bacon's father told us his son was turning his life around. He was planning on going back to school, and he had just started a new job. Unfortunately, his life came to a sudden end because of Mark Lutunsky.
It's in our best interest to see him in prison forever, and I didn't want him out in public again.
Carl Bacon is glad his son's killer will never live another day as a free man. Mark Lutunsky, who already pled guilty in September to killing Kevin Bacon, is facing a mandatory sentence of life without the possibility of parole. This after the judge decided Latunsky's guilty plea would be for first-degree murder. And even though Carl Bacon is getting justice, he says he's left with a lot of unanswered questions, with the most prevalent being what led his son into Latunsky's path. In December 2019, Bacon's mutilated body was found hanging from the ceiling in a secret room in Latunsky's home in the Shiawassee County community of Bennington Township. Besides admitting to Bacon's murder, Latunsky also said he ate part of Bacon's body.
That's the difficult part as to why Kevin decided to do this when.
Turns out this court hearing marked one of the few instances that Carl Bacon and Mark Latunsky were in the same room together.
This felt weird, unusual. It just a little bit creepy.
Yeah.
It was this, the guy just gives off a weird vibe.
That's something Bacon may only have to experience one more time when Latunsky is sentenced in December.
It's been a long road, and I'm glad we're almost to the end of it. We got one more hearing to go, and I think hopefully then we can put this matter to rest.
But nothing will bring Kevin back, a fact that weighs heavily on this grieving father.
I think about him every day,
We both.
and yeah, he's always in my thoughts.
After the proceeding, Latunsky's attorney told us it is doubtful her client will ask for an appeal. David and Elise, back to you.
James, thank you. Sentencing for Latunsky will take place in mid-December.